Hello and welcome to the Criticaleye Asia podcast, inspiring leaders to succeed. These podcasts are part review, but also very much an expansion of a subject matter. And I'll explain more about that in a moment. Engaging, though, on subjects at the forefront of business leaders' minds. Always topical, thought-provoking, and enabling you to learn from leaders and peers who have and continue to deliver amazing results. So, today we are here to explore stepping up. And I'll explain a little bit more what I mean by that. But it's a way in which one can look back and reflect on what you might tell a younger self. What you did not know then that you would like that younger self to know now. So, stepping up is when you move to the heady heights of a country or regional role, where you're situated at the top, or perceivably at the top, one or two steps away potentially from global if it is a global organization. And all around you, you're suddenly expected to deliver on things that you've never had to deliver before. As a leader, you're there to be able to be the point of reference and to take people forward. So what does a first-time senior exec need to know? Now, to help explore this subject, I feel very, very fortunate to be with William Lowe, who is, amongst many things, a Criticaleye board mentor, but also a global portfolio entrepreneur, chair, advisor, you name it, and of course, non-executive director. Now, William is renowned for being the founder of NetVigator, the largest internet business in Hong Kong, the first interactive, I hope I'm getting this right, William, the first interactive and on-demand TV service in the world at the time. And aside from a stellar executive career across technology and media, he's also been involved in retail and e-commerce, been involved in education, financial services and consultancy, and probably some other things that we will bring in. So a very, very broad and diverse career. So lovely to have you here with us today, William. So what we're going to, I suppose a good place to start would be to get an overview of your career in literally in a nutshell, if you can, a walnut shell, if that's all right. And then we'll pick up on some of the themes that are particularly relevant to this subject of stepping up. And what we're also going to do is just be mindful of, in the role of stepping up, the economic environment within which people are operating at the moment. And then we'll be able to explore, I think, two particular roles where you saw, and we will recollect on what it felt like to be able to step up, what was demanded of you, and look at that from the perspective of what you did well and what you might have done otherwise. But also, I think, getting a perspective from you in your portfolio career, what you look for in prospective CEOs. Okay, so let's start off with an intro to you and a little bit about your career.
Well, first of all, thank you, Charlie, for inviting me to this sharing session. I started my career, well, I was a neuroscientist by training. That's my doctorate is in. But right after I got my PhD in Cambridge back in the 80s, I've decided that that is perhaps not a lifelong career I would like to embark on. So I moved on to the commerce side, business side of things. And I was lucky enough to be able to make that transition move via McKinsey & Company. So I joined McKinsey, the consulting firm in London, right after my PhD. Firstly in London, then I was kind of like shipped back to Hong Kong to help McKinsey to open the Hong Kong office. And typically after a few years, I learned the tricks of management, business strategy, corporate finance, etc., I was asked to join one of my clients, and that was the telephone company in Hong Kong at the time. So that was in late 80s, early 90s, and at the time when the telephone industries is very much going through a deregulation process. So a lot of things opening up for competition, and all organizations, all telcos in the world, so-called, has to go for a transformation from a monopoly to a competitive organization. So I was there, and I was also lucky enough to be able to involve, as you said, in the early days of internet in the 90s. Then after that, after 8 years in the TMT sector, I made quite a big significant stepping up of joining the Citibank and become the CEO of Citibank Greater China at the time. I spent a few years there, and then I moved back to TMT sector. But in that particular case, it wasn't the technology and the telecom thing who is appealing to me, but rather because it is a Chinese telco, the China Unicom, one of the largest state-owned enterprise in China. They invited me to join their board as an executive director, looking after their whole IPO process in Hong Kong and New York, as well as in charge of the listed company in Hong Kong. And at that time, I took that particular challenge. It is because that was the year 2001. And the whole world, after the IT bubble, is looking for the next big thing. I still remember that I kept being asked in various media interviews, saying that, what do you think about the next big things after the IT bubble? And I said, the next big thing is not about a particular industry. It's about a place called China. And then I asked myself, do I know enough about China? I said, no, actually not. I was born in Hong Kong, raised up in Hong Kong, educated in UK. I speak Chinese. I write very good Chinese, but I didn't know China that much at the time. So when the chance of joining Unicom came, I thought this was a very good idea. So I joined China Unicom for a number of years. Then, as you said, I came back to Hong Kong, and from then on, I did various consumer retail business. Firstly, in fashion retail, I helped IPO and other fashion retailers in Hong Kong back in 2006. And then after that, after a few years there, I also do consumer retail in toys. I brought Lego to Hong Kong and China as well, and got that particular company IPO'd in 2018. And then normally when I do a project like that, it's like a 5 years project, 3 to 5 years project, and I reach certain of my own KPI, then I step down and step up to another thing, which came to my the last 2 years. I've been working with Jackie Chan and a few other friends on a new edutainment platform. Is very much like a Chinese version of the American edutainment app called Masterclass. So we are doing a Chinese version of Masterclass in Hong Kong. So in a nutshell, but in general, basically at any one time, other than just the big project, the core project I'm kind of like focusing on, I still do advisory and in-net or net work for various listed companies. Currently, I'm an in-net of 9 listed companies all around the world, and a few other private companies as well. And then the last bit is I still chair about 3 NGOs in Hong Kong, mostly focusing on the education and youth development as well. So in a nutshell.
That's a very, that's quite a large walnut, but that was needed to be covered. So thank you very, very much indeed.